verbindt de wereld.
Smallworlnd, LNURL USA.
Sunday, 13th of February, the Super Bowl will take place in SoFi Stadium in LA. It will be the second time that more than 7,000 people will not pay with cash anymore. Is it the first step and the key that will open the door to use Bitcoin in the near future at one of the biggest events of the world?
Yes?
Are you on a plant-based diet?
No.
One of nature's oldest symbiotic relationships, winged insects and flowering plants, depends upon each other for survival, the act of which is painfully simple. Is it the most interesting one for you?
No.
Will planting trees be a solution to the climate crisis?
Yes.
Is working in the backyard to grow crops the ultimate way to empty your head after a busy week?
Yes.
Will Bitcoin survive strict worldwide regulations?
Yes.
Do you trim your mustache yourself?
Always.
Do you think data is more valuable than money nowadays?
Yes.
Your favorite distillery, Lagavulin, officially dates from 1816. Do you know Lagavulin is known for its producer's use of a slow distillation speed and pear-shaped pot stills?
Yes.
Are you Satoshi Nakamoto?
No.
Welcome to the Connected World Weekly Podcast. I'm Edward.
And I'm Steph. We are ready to take you with us into the beautiful world of the Lightning Network.
Enjoy the ride. This is episode 11 of Connected World. How are you doing, Steph, this time?
I'm fine, Edward. And how are you doing? Because I heard you were a little sick, Edward.
Yeah, Phil contaminated me with his digitally with his coronavirus, and no, I had a terrible week, and well, still a bit. I'm not 100%, but it was nasty.
But was it because of the corona? Because
I
no, you said you were not 100%, but I think it's not due to the corona, right?
For me.
No, just kidding, man.
No.
You look
it's okay.
fine, by the way. I mean,
Well,
did you use your wife's makeup or something? Because
I did everything that was possible to only stay here for this hour and a half with you. Yeah, because otherwise, no, it took a lot of effort. But I'm back again.
Yeah, you look fine.
In the world of the living.
Hey, did you watch the Olympics this morning, Edward?
No, I've missed that.
You've missed that, yeah, because we have something to be proud of. Irene Wust is our Dutch ice skater, and she won the 5th consecutive Winter Olympics. She won the gold medal. So
gold medal, okay.
Yeah, the gold medal, 5th consecutive. So she's the first athlete to accomplish that. So
awesome.
Irene, I don't know if you're a Bitcoiner, but I don't know if you watched this show. But,
let's cheer.
Yeah, great job.
No, I didn't watch it.
And actually, she can win because she also participates in a couple of more races. So I think she can even win one more.
Because this was the first one, right?
This was the first one. Yeah, for her. Yeah,
awesome.
So, yeah, man.
No, but you watch it a lot then.
Yeah, I try to. I used to watch everything, but now with my son, he starts to walk and he is very energetic. So
so you have to keep an eye on him.
And on Monday we always clean the house, me and my wife. So it's a very busy day, and I like to see it all, but unfortunately, I think it's a bit less than it used to be. But I saw the match the history writing match. So that was pretty nice.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Great. Yeah, well, these couple of days I can do a little bit more. So I hope that I can watch something too.
You're lying because you're not a sports fan.
No, but I really like tennis and I like to watch some football, but I didn't watch it for ages, really.
No.
I've so much to do, and well, it's a bad excuse.
Yeah, but it's cool, man. We're from Holland. We're
yeah, you're right. I'm proud.
So small part of a spot at
Exactly.
at the world map, and we win all these medals, man. It's crazy. I mean, the second one was a girl from Japan, and I mean, we have only like 80 million people living in Holland, so it's something to be proud of, man.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. I dare you to do something one time, because in episode 9, I was thinking about it and I did a quiz. It's an online assessment about your personality. And I thought, well, our friend Shepard told us that he's a campaigner, and a campaigner is someone who a free spirit and always in for a laugh. And I also did it, and I thought, well, maybe you can do it also, and tell me next time what you are, because
Okay, cool.
I know you a little bit, but well, perhaps it tells you something.
Okay.
And I'm
Send
an
me the link.
advocate.
Send me the link.
I'm quiet and mystical, yet very inspiring and a tireless idealist. So I thought, well, that's exactly what I needed to hear, because I was feeling ill. So I thought, well, this is nice.
You have something to cheer you up. But I mean, if you send me
to
the
you.
link, I will do that before the next episode. And if I have to put my 12 or 24 words in it, then I will shut it down. Okay.
Yeah, of course.
Okay.
Well, and this week we have another guest. It's Smallworlnd from LNURL.com. We use it a lot, and he's a guest to join us. So that's
great, man.
Something to look forward to.
Looking forward to that interview. But as always, Edward, we first have to talk a little bit about the statistics of the Lightning Network, and of course about our Rings of Fire community. And then the second part will be with Smallworlnd.
Yes, have fun.
Have fun.
Conectar el mundo.
So last week we had a little over 20.6 Bitcoin pushed into the Lightning Network, and this week it's 21.3. So more than 21 Bitcoin, always a special figure to us, Edward. With around 740 members participating in over 89 rings.
Yeah, and over 21, it's awesome, of course.
Yeah. We added
cheered
67 million Satoshis this week.
Yeah, 67 extra.
Yeah, great.
Amazing. Yeah. Well, and we are now at a block height of 700,222 and 227. It's a nice number, I think. Yeah. And if we look at the Lightning Network as a whole, we have 150 nodes extra this week. So it's a total more than 20,390. So that's nice. And the network capacity growth was 54 Bitcoin more than last week. So that's also an increase. And the value of today, Steph?
Yeah, 1 million Satoshis is getting you $441, 387 euros, and 2,800 Chinese yuan.
Nice. And I like the increase again. Awesome.
Connect the world.
And for the news of this week, LND 0.14.2 beta, it's a second minor release of the 0.14 cycle. And this release contains no more larger major features, and instead packages of a series of bug fixes. And that's nice. Some obscure crash fixes that can occur, and it's now fixed, and some enhancements like being able to convert a node to a watch-only node for use with a remote signer feature. So that's nice. And Zeus has come up with an update, key send messaging, improved Tor support, fixed linking on Android and handling with password and better connection refresh. I tested today also with Steph. I think it's a little bit better. Yeah,
it wasn't a big difference for me, to be honest.
Yeah,
But
I think it's it seems to be better, but I don't know. Eclair 0.70 is a new major release that adds support for Anchor outputs and relaying Onion messages and using the Postgres SQL database in production. And BTC Pay Server has a new update which includes improvements for login authentication and a number of user interface improvements. And Umbrel, well, they released 2 updates because in one update there was a problem with the Collider app. They added, I think, 4 apps. Yeah, Collider app, trade Bitcoin derivatives using your Lightning node. Don't know if I'm going to use it, but it's, it's another app. Bitfeed, visualization of your Bitcoin nodes mempool. That's nice.
Yeah, I saw a screenshot of it, and it really looks
it looks
really nice. Yeah.
Looks really spiffy.
Yeah.
And I think this one is the one that you liked, LNDG. Automate and analyze your Lightning node management.
I already installed it. I didn't had time to set it up. To set it up at my node because, and I'm also being part of the zero fee February community, so I will look into it in March. Yeah, I participated, and I had contact with General Khan. He's also a known Lightning node runner because he uses it a lot, LNDG, but not he used it as an install not on Umbrel, but he is now using it on Umbrel as well. So I will have to look into it.
Did you see more routing with zero fee?
No, that's strange, man. Yeah, I forgot to mention it, but I had no routing. But maybe it's because so many people are using that zero fees that
perhaps
that maybe the routing is going through other nodes. I don't know, but I expected some more.
Then it comes up with connections. I think I don't know. I had some routing, but not very much.
No.
So
I had just before I lowered it to zero. I had I think approximately 5 to 6 a week or so. But when I loaded it,
we have to do what we have to do what Alex said. Finding the traffic, know where the traffic is, of course. Well, I have one more news update, and it's not a news update. I was thinking about it. Lightning Shell. If you used it before. I can say something about it. It's a Lightning Shell. You can install it on Umbrel, and it has some apps included, like Balance of Satoshis, Charge LND, and for example, Igniter script. I think it's interesting to try. I've read something about it, and I thought, well, maybe if it's difficult for you to install some apps, then you can use Lightning Shell, and if you have it, then you have all the other apps as well.
Why are you looking at me, Edward?
No. I know you have Igniter and Balance of Satoshis,
but it was very difficult for me to install them because you helped me, so I will look into it. Edward, thanks for mentioning.
Okay. Bad memories. Okay then.
Connetti il mondo.
Let's have a look at the rings forecast, guys. We have only 3 spots left at the 500k 26th ring and only 2 spots left at the 10 million Satoshis 3rd ring. And that's a very special one because, we don't see that rings with that high liquidity very often. We opened the 10 million Satoshis 2nd ring, I think it was last week. So I think it will be balanced next week when we record the next podcast.
Nice.
But it's very special that we already have so many people interested in that one. So if you want to join that one, and this is for the more serious node operators, of course. A little disclaimer, but we have 2 spots left. So please sign up using the polls in our Telegram group. And of course, we balanced some rings last week. We balanced the 500k 25th ring with just Stefan as a ringleader. While he was anxious to put his recently learned skill into practice again, including thorough testing at this moment supreme, we got surprised by some issues which seemed to be caused by his own node. Since I was part of the ring, Jury wrote this as well. Everything seemed to be nice and peachy from my node, except for some ignorant gossip from my direct neighbors. While just Stefan and I were both trying to fix those issues, suddenly a wild opportunity of no fees, perfect balancing appeared from my node. Although I rather have others to do the magic. After an hour, we agreed that I would ignite the ring. Enjoy your perfectly balanced channels. So Jury, he balanced that one. And we had the 5 million Satoshis 11th ring. In just 3 days, this ring was formed and had our experienced ringleader Turbo Boss prepared and ready. Once again, Gossip was in a stubborn mood and decided to skip Turbo Boss. So actually, ignition was done by someone who I consider on one of my lightning heroes, Rusoft, the OG behind the Igniter script we have been using since our first 65 million ring. So we used this script 89 rings as from now.
It's amazing.
Yeah, it's amazing. So actually, he was in our community the whole time already. I didn't know that. I have to admit, Edward, but he was in our community the whole time. I know what Jury meant. So actually, he was in our community the whole time already without himself knowing it, because we used his script, of course. And he joined our community, and then he joined this Ring of Fire because we wanted to show. No, we wanted to show the bot that the Jury built, and he was very interested in that one. So we invited him into this ring, and he participated in that one. So
nice.
Yeah, great work, Turbo Boss. Really appreciate your preparedness and planning and communication. And Rusoft, great to have you here, of course. And then last but not least, we balanced the 3 million Satoshis 10th ring, and it was again our Turbo Boss. Boss still had his turbo on and balanced his second ring of this week. Everything was perfectly organized, so it looked like another day at the office for Boss. Someone still had some high fees and was not present, so we need to settle that, and we settled it on to the next one. And I forgot to mention, maybe it's nice to mention that in these 3 rings, there were node operators from, I see Spain, I see Holland, of course. I see Canada again. I see Belgium. I see Great Britain. I see Norway, Swiss, and the USA. So again, very nicely distributed. Edward.
It's a
very happy
nice bundle of countries. Great.
Great work, guys.
Thanks. Yeah, everything is cut and dried again. And thanks, Steph, for the updates. And let's go to the lightning notes.
Yes,
de wereld.
Make sure to secure your home network. So change default passwords and use 2-factor authentication where possible. And keep your software up to date. It's also very important. Please keep in mind that the whole Lightning network is very experimental. Software like MyNode, Umbrel, Raspberry Blitz, for example, and many others, and LND also, are still in beta phase. Don't blindly run terminal commands on your node if you don't understand them yourself, and especially when prefixed with sudo. And the last one is also very important. Don't use Satoshis that you're not willing to lose. So if you're not aware of all security considerations, then read into it. Educate yourself, read articles, ask for help in Telegram groups with high reputation like ours, and listen to podcasts and learn by doing. Otherwise, don't participate.
Also, you can stay informed by following us on Twitter. You can find us at Satoshi Radio ROF. And follow our lightning leader, Jonī Kyasshu. Join our Telegram groups, Satoshi Radio, Ring of Fire, and Connect the World. And check our website, satoshi.radio. It would be nice for you to be part of our Amboss community. You can find us there on Satoshi Radio. And like and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Use Podcasting 2.0 to listen to Connect the World. And you can check SATA trading for the current value. You can find all this information, of course, also in the show notes as well.
All right, let's get on to the show.
Connect the
All right, well, welcome, Smallworlnd. We're excited to have you in our podcast. How are you,
Thank you
Ben?
very much. I'm very well. nice to meet you guys, and it's nice to be here.
Nice, man.
Likewise.
You look fantastic,
Likewise.
man. Very stylish.
Oh, thank you, thank you.
And yeah, I think you have to be. I think you have to open your own barbershop because your mustache is on point, man.
Yeah, I coif it daily, and I gave it an extra twirl today just for you guys.
Cool. You look awesome on the screen.
Thank you.
Like an artist or something, yeah. Yeah. And well, I've read somewhere that you were in doubt of choosing between Miami 2022 and getting some ASICs in your house. What did you eventually choose?
That's a great question. I'm still undecided, but I'm sort of leaning more towards getting the ASICs for functional reasons. Because this can function as a heating source in my house.
Yeah. That's a story you hear a lot these days, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, cool, man. But you don't have any ASICs right now, right? So
no. No ASICs right now.
No.
Hey, and we understand LND, but why did you choose the name Smallworlnd LND?
I guess it's sort of a play on words. I really like the idea of the Lightning Network sort of making the world small in a way, or I guess connecting the world. Yeah. And I just sort of thought it was a subtle, clever way to come up with an alias.
Yeah. I think it combines everything. Well, you were saying connecting the world making small with connections to peers and other nodes. And also Meshtadel, where we talked a lot about that. So it's nice that you put up a name like that. And we heard you also are into permaculture.
I am indeed.
I think. Can you tell us something about it?
Well, I guess Chino mentioned he had a very good summary for this, and it's basically to collect and reuse energy, right? And so I'm basically trying to take all of these different pieces that are just out there and available to use, and just sort of like meshing them together in some sort of synergistic way.
Hey, but are animals also part of a permaculture, or don't, or aren't they? Is it all like crops and vegetables and?
Of course, yeah. So there's the wildlife that is just around and participating in this system, but of course, there's livestock to some extent that participates. So we will be integrating chickens in this system.
Cool. And not only for the eggs.
That's great. Yeah.
Not only for the eggs.
Because I asked if you were on a plant-based diet, and you answered no. So I know why. Now I know why.
Absolutely.
Hey, cool, man. Hey, again, it's very nice to meet you. And you have set up a beautiful website, LNNodeInsight.com. And we really want to ask you all kinds of questions about it. But it has to be in the part that we call the 21 minutes. So if you guys are ready, we would like to enter that part of the show, guys. Are you ready?
Yeah,
okay,
I'm ready.
Verbend die wereld.
Okay, well, first is you came up with with LNNodeInsights.com website. What was your original idea with it?
The original idea was actually to provide a full-fledged service that would basically recommend nodes to basically anyone who is already participating in the network. The big obstacle to that was actually that it's very computationally expensive to be able to do that easily. So I ended up just breaking down this process a little bit and to just sort of expose this more sort of approachable, I guess expose it in a more approachable way for the user to see exactly what happens when they choose to make a decision, for example. And it was very much inspired by basically a lot of work that has already been done or is already implemented in some of these Lightning implementations. So really, I'm standing on the shoulders of giants, and I'm simply providing a little bit more of user-friendly interface for a node operator to sort of play with these concepts.
Mm-hmm. And excuse me, but what was your inspiration then? Because you said it already existed a bit, or some other guys were playing around with it. What was your inspiration?
Yeah, so I mean, my inspiration, first of all, is that I'm really into data analytics, and exposing data and telling a story from that is very compelling and interesting to me. Mm-hmm. And I understood that some Lightning implementations, like for instance LND, already have these sort of autopilot channel recommendation programs, but they unfortunately have a bad rap. I don't really know. I haven't followed the history of it too much, but they're, from what I understand, they're widely discouraged or just widely not appreciated. So I simply took elements of these recommendation pipelines and turned them into something that the user can see and break down for themselves to understand what it is exactly what they might be incurring, or what they might be doing should they choose to open a channel, for instance.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Because all the data that you're using is free and open, of course. So it's just combining it in a user-friendly way, but also in a smart way to give control to node operators. So I understand that. Is there any data that isn't accessible and would be great if it was on the Lightning Network?
So yes, that's right. I do use all of the freely gossiped data in the network, and so I simply collect snapshots of the graph over time. And I do collect some sort of meta information, if we can call it that, from other websites, just to sort of round out the picture. Mm-hmm. But of course, the main information that is hidden in the network is where is the traffic, right? Like where is traffic flowing?
Yeah.
That's the question that everyone wants to know.
The $1,000,000 question, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. But at the same time, there's a privacy implication. Yeah. So we have to respect to some extent the privacy that has been born into the system. Mm-hmm. First and foremost. But overall, I mean, the idea was that all of these transactions would be happening off chain to scale it properly. And so the privacy concern is really a benefit to having done this in the Lightning Network.
Yeah, cool. Hey, and your website is also providing a couple of simulators. Can you tell us what they do?
Absolutely. So I briefly mentioned the channel simulator. So the channel simulator is just a way for a node operator to see what would happen should they choose to open a channel to another node before they actually commit the sats to open that channel. Mm-hmm. And it's based on network analysis strictly. So I'm simply looking at the topology of the network and then basically simulating or just creating a new link in my algorithm to see how a node would better fit or how it would sort of change its position within the network and how that might affect, let's say, a potential for routing. So that's one simulator that I've built into it. That was the very first one. And
the most important one also, maybe, or
yeah, exactly. People were most interested in that one, and so I've sort of built up a lot of different filters that people can sort of tweak and play with to narrow down their selection. And
interesting.
The other simulator is one based on rebalances, which I still haven't really come up with a great name for it because I don't think it really captures everything that I'm trying to sort of portray in the simulator. But the basic idea is that you put in your node and basically another node that you are interested in opening a channel to, and you can see how much it might cost to rebalance that channel.
Cool.
Yeah. And also you see the metric differences, overlap channels, and that kind of things.
Exactly. I mean, the tools were built in the spirit of trying to increase diversity and to sort of allow people the tools to sort of reach out into interesting places to them in the network.
Yeah. And can you give us some numbers about the traffic to your website and which pages are most visited or what simulators are most used? You just said it, of course, but maybe there are more.
Yeah, I honestly don't have very satisfactory answers to these questions because I don't collect a lot of data on how people use the website all that much. Of course, I see basic information like the number of unique IPs that are connecting to the website, and that can sort of give me an idea of how many people visit the website. And it's grown substantially since it was initially incepted, and I can only assume that most people are simply taking advantage of the freely available tools like the channel simulator, for instance. Based on the CPU usage logs, I can see that the channel simulator does take up a good chunk of it.
Because that's the one who is using the most of your CPU, right?
Yeah, exactly. On my tiny, humble hardware, it very much needs to grow.
Yeah.
So that's good.
Yeah.
And what variables do you use the most with your own charts?
I can cheat a little bit because I have all of the snapshots of the graph over time. And really, I do leverage all of these in the sense that I like to see trends in the sort of the build your own chart application. The build your own chart, that just gives you an overview of the Lightning Network as it is right now. But I do like to see what the trends are over time. And of course, simulating a channel, that's a fundamental part to what I do, like understanding how I can possibly change my node's position within the network. That's an interesting criterion. But of course, this is all part of a very, very big and sort of complex procedure in choosing channels. So, of course, I use the rebalance simulator. I basically use all the components. Like it was all of these ideas that I had for myself that I was just running using code initially. I turned it into a sort of interface for people themselves to play with.
Yeah, it's very funny. We had it in the last couple of 3 episodes that everyone is building all these things for helping. At first for helping himself, and then afterwards providing it also to other users and node operators. So
exactly.
Yeah. I think that's the way how it works. If you come up with something, it needs to be valuable to yourself, of course. Well, you're all about data, of course. And can you share some fun numbers from nodes within the Lightning Network?
Yeah, so
which tell us something more.
So some fun numbers. I would say that there has been an explosive growth in the number of active, publicly visible nodes. Everyone has sort of been in tune with this metric over the last little while. But another fun metric associated with that is the fact that most nodes are actually very, very tiny. They usually have 1 to 2 channels at most. And those channels basically hold an average of around 70,000 sats. And so, the explosive growth, yes, that's very interesting and important. But you can basically say that much more than half the nodes are actually just tiny nodes.
Yeah. Yeah, but I think, maybe we see it also in our community, of course. Our community has grown very fast last year. And I think, a lot of people are just experimenting with a software like LNURL, for instance, who is making it very easy to start running your own node. And maybe some of that group aren't comfortable by putting a lot of Satoshis into their node at first. So maybe that will grow by the time. And talking about our Rings of Fire concept, because many of our members are using LN node inside. What do you think about the Ring of Fire concept? How can it help node operators, and what more do they need?
I think it's a fantastic concept. Honestly, I myself participate in some rings, some of the earlier rings, and it's a great way to get so-called free inbound, or simply to swap liquidity between people. And I think equally valuable is the building of a community, or sort of like this community sense, right? you meet people, you talk to people, and you sort of grow with these people who are also participating in these rings.
Yeah.
So there's lots to learn. I think I myself learned quite a lot from simply participating in these rings. And I have to give a shout out to Laptop Man, because he basically, in all of the rings I participated in, he was the organizer. And so
cool.
he's an excellent project manager, working behind the scenes. So,
he is.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. And how do you calculate the node rank? And can you explain what these numbers mean in an easy way? Because there are a lot of ranking numbers that you can check on your site. And I checked mine, of course, also. And I checked what happens if I open a channel to your node. And I see my betweenness, centrality rank, and the gain that I will receive when I open a channel with you. So perhaps you can explain us something about it.
Yeah, sure. So the metric is actually based on very well established metrics in graph theory literature. So I'm basically taking these fundamental notions of how to describe the network itself from the perspective of a given node. And so the three metrics that I include in the website are sort of complementary in a way to sort of understand what it would mean if you were to increase your betweenness a certain amount, but not the others, let's say. It's for betweenness, for instance, all it is it's simply counting the number of times that you appear in a shortest path between any two nodes. That'll count as 1 point. And I basically do that for the entire network. So for every combination of nodes out there, if you're in the shortest path, you get 1 point. And so at the end of the day, I just calculate the sum of all of that, and then it's the rank.
Yeah. And it's important for if you want to have a routing node, of course. If you just want to have a node to do transactions, it's less important. But if you want to be a big routing node, it's very useful information.
Yeah, exactly. The idea is that the more you put yourself in the shortest paths between nodes, the more likely you are to possibly route a payment.
Yeah.
But of course, we all know it's more complicated than that, because it's also an issue of liquidity, and you have all of this dynamic economic information layered on top. And so I think this is just one of many tools that we can use to position nodes intelligently in the network.
Yeah. And what is the most noteworthy insight you learned about the Lightning Network using your own tooling?
The most noteworthy. I think it's really sort of like an aggregate of all of these statistics that I've seen over time to basically perceive the Lightning Network as a gigantic sort of like messy ball right now. Everyone's
we call
sort
it
of
the big ball of spaghetti.
yeah, exactly. It's the big ball of spaghetti.
Yeah.
And I think that's probably going to change over time. And it'll change how we perceive how nodes should sort of connect to the network. I think it'll sort of stratify over time. But yeah, I think it's most interesting to see the massive growth in people sort of connecting all over the place to make this hyper connected, decentralized sort of machine.
Yeah.
And are there possibilities to pay with Lightning in the area where you live? I was thinking more about the adoption of Lightning and Bitcoin. Are there merchants that accept Bitcoin or Lightning?
That's a great question. I'm not sure. I'm not really aware of any, aside from some shops that basically promote Bitcoin as simply as a currency to be exchanged with. Right. So there are a couple shops like that. And there are some ATMs or automatic banking machines that you can purchase Bitcoin at. But I kind of feel like I'm letting my local community down in that sense. I haven't really been up to date with it. I haven't kept up. I don't participate as much.
But I assume that when you open your own barber shop, which you will, then you will accept Bitcoin, of course, on the Lightning Network.
No doubt, is naturally.
What do you see as the most important feature for the Lightning Network that's currently missing?
The most important feature, I would probably say, more baked in, privacy-centered features.
Okay. Yeah. Yeah. And what kind of layer 3 solution would you like to see in the near future?
I honestly would like to see more of RGB as a layer 3 solution.
Yeah. Yeah.
I still, in all honesty, I still don't quite understand how it works. But, I sort of lurk in the RGB Telegram chats, and, I still sort of eavesdrop on RGB conversations just to see what's going on and to see the direction of development.
Edward is the expert on RGB, by the way. So we talked about it before this interview, and we were also
exactly. We're really intrigued about it, and I think it's interesting to follow. You're absolutely right, and there will be more solutions, of course, on layer 3. But this is an interesting one.
Yeah. What is on the top of your list then for the Bitcoin Lightning concepts to study next? Will it be something like RGB, for instance?
Yeah, in terms of the actual tech stack, that's probably a good one. Honestly, I'm not as steeped in how all of these technologies can basically be intertwined and leveraged all at the same time. But at least I can see the potential.
Cool.
Yeah. And on GitHub, we saw you published some more things, like, for instance, stream HTLCS on LND. Can you explain the usage of that script?
Right. So the HTLC stream, various programs expose this to the user, like, for instance, LNTop. They basically show you the active HTLCs on your LND node. And of course, this is very, very fundamental and interesting behavior for the node to sort of tap into from a data analytics perspective. And so I basically wanted to capture all of that information long-term and to be able to process it thereafter. And so I built this very, very simple script that plugs into the LND HTLC streams. And I just redirect, or I do a little bit of formatting on this data and redirect it to a file so that I can later on study how my nodes channels are being used.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
cool.
So understanding what happens. Yeah.
Hey, and
exactly.
And do you think it's a good development that less technical savvy people are able to join the Lightning Network using software like Umbrel, for instance?
Yeah, I think it's fantastic that it's become very, very accessible. Mm-hmm. At the same time, I think it also pushes us to sort of understand a little bit more a lot of the peripheral sort of issues around getting access to something like such a complex stack and putting something of value on this, right? So I think it's great that a lot of people can jump in, but at the same time, I'm also thinking it's great that we're now revealing a lot of issues that we should be working on next, for instance.
Yeah, and I think that's why you also mentioned that there is a big increase on nodes with very small capacity, and we can't link them to Umbrel, of course, or other easygoing software. But I think there is a connection, right? In nodes with small capacity that are just people who are trying to find out how it's working and how do they manage their own a node. Yeah.
And you're running, quite a big node yourself. What advice can you give to our listeners who are just starting with a node and want to be, for example, a routing node or really put some effort in it?
Yeah, so getting started as a routing node, the main piece of advice that I would give is really just to take it slow. Because in a sense, it's a low stakes game. But at the same time, like I briefly mentioned before, it's a very complex tech stack. And so there's just so much to learn. The moment from opening or installing the software and getting it going, getting the Bitcoin Core client synced up to the blockchain, getting LND going and opening your first channel and setting up fee policies and what does it mean to balance liquidity? There's just so much to learn. that it's best to just take it easy and really connect with people in the community, just to get some other opinions. Connect to those resources.
Yeah. So take it easy.
Exactly.
It will be
Have
fine.
a break.
Have a break.
Exactly.
And
There's always time.
I think because we hit the TikTok and the gong, and what better way is it to just finish this 21 minutes part with this advice, Edward?
Yeah, I think that's great. I really wanted to ask that question because I know a lot of listeners want to know that. So that's great.
Yeah.
Well,
cool.
We had a lot of more answers, right, Steph?
Yeah, we had a lot of more questions. Yeah.
But okay, maybe some other time in another show episode, then we will. We are glad to have you back, of course.
Excellent.
So thank you for that.
It's been great being here chatting with you guys, and I'd love to chat more.
世界をつなぐ
Yeah, and we have still one question left for you because last week we had Tom Chojnacki from Satsback.com. And with Satsback.com, you can shop online and earn free Bitcoin. They use the Lightning Network to do so. So that's awesome. Edward will play the audio file so you can listen to that question, and then you may answer it.
There it comes.
Do you think there will be a US dollar or euro stablecoin built on the Lightning Network before the next halving in 2024, I guess it is? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a great question. I can't really provide any insight on the timeline, but from my perspective, it only seems inevitable, right? When we have such a rich potential with the stack that we have on Bitcoin, I feel like it's only going to happen, right? There's just so much potential to be able to grow vertically that a stablecoin is one of infinite possibilities that we can leverage this interesting technology.
Cool.
Yeah, great. Well, and next time we have a new guest. His name is Herman Vivier, and we know him from Bitcoin Ekazi, where he's building a Bitcoin economy in a township in South Africa, Mossel Bay. And he works with Server Kits, a program he has there. And we want to ask him a question from you. Which question can we ask him?
Yeah, so I guess this is a good question to ask him because he's actively promoting Bitcoin and actively working towards hyper-Bitcoinization. And my question really for him is, what are some of the strategies and things that he's currently doing and that he would recommend to others to be able to spread the word towards hyper-Bitcoinization?
Cool.
Yeah, great question.
Cool, man. Yeah, we will ask him next week.
Exactly.
And maybe then one of the listeners to our show can implement it in their community, and we can really get that ball rolling, right?
Exactly. To reach a critical mass.
Yeah.
We will like that.
Cool, man. Thank you.
Thanks.
Conecta el mundo.
Well, thank you, Smallworlnd, for being here with us. Thanks for your time.
And thanks for the awesome website you host and build, and because a lot of our community members are using it, and I think it's great. I think it's a very easy and cool tool to use if you want to have some more information from your node and what your strategy may be. And so thanks for that, man.
Well, and also thanks for the community. Honestly, I have to give a shout out to them because it wouldn't be in the state that it's in now without their valuable input.
Cool, man.
Well, thank you. That's
thank you
really nice. Yeah, thanks.
Great, thanks, guys.
And thanks for listening, and thanks to all members participating in the Satoshi Radio Rings of Fire. And of course, thanks to everyone helping us to connect the world. And if you want to support us in our mission, then you can donate using the bots in our Telegram group. And don't forget to like and share our content on your favorite platform. So keep those nodes running, sats flowing, and rings burning. And see you all next week with Herman Vivier from Bitcoin Ekazi on the same Lightning channel. Aloha, Smallworlnd.
Yeah.